All right, good morning. Starting in a couple of minutes. Welcome. Good morning. All right, just getting my stuff together. Hit the like button. Start in 1 minute.
The best thing we can do is mind our own business and let the rest of the world go hang. What's the matter with you?
No cause, just protection. Things got worse. No side effects. Inhaled stress hurts. No suggestions always first. But when that drive is to kill you, brother, stay alert.
Coffee's ready. Cheers.
Can identify you.
Nice.
System, some say we doomed. Others wait for some fate to get struck with some old light to fight on your night. See you now. Where the fucking feel is, Hillary? I moved out east. Time would tell you, see your destined. Hell having on a bang, what you see. Oddity, we all have a difference by your neck. Ignorance, bigger person, her and time got you close box for the close-minded. Don't find it strange, Hawk. Same cop, pull up, take 10, most time have. Fucked up my stash. I don't fucking go to pay.
All right. Let's get going. What's up? Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. First order of business, London hour trade. Am I marked correctly? And we are done with the hour. So let's see what's going on with this setup today. Let's see what we're dealing with to the left. What happened yesterday on that news? Kind of chaotic. Ended off pretty much where we started. A lot of fake breaks to the upside. Which could be a bearish condition. Obviously, we're in a downtrend. Again, the news was really a low volume kind of day until we hit the news, and then we didn't get much of a reaction. The news has been a little weird the last few sessions. End of last week. But you notice there's a high here and a fake break, and then this high has a fake break here, and then this high has a fake break here. I guess the lows kind of have the same thing, though. Yeah, the lows do the same thing. You got the low, fake break. That low, fake break. This low has a fake break. That's tough if you're trading breakouts or you're putting your stop outside of the range. Either way, that's not good. I have to say it's really just ranging conditions, especially that fake break stuff is really the sign of, obviously the structure can't trend. It looks like it might be, and then it just comes back. So structurally being sideways, news not helping. I mean, this day literally started and ended off at the same price, no matter what the big news was all about. It did nothing. Yeah, there's a lot of activity, but, you know, effort versus result. What's the result? Just kind of a mushy, big old mess. No apparent. I mean, you could take this as a sign of strength from a 1 hour point of view, right? But what does the 5 minute really tell you about that? It's just chaos. No particular sign of demands coming in here. It's just kind of chaotic, and it went nowhere. That's fine. Really just taking it as a range. Let's see, is that sort of really what we're looking at here? There's a difference between range and actual accumulation distribution, which also could go sideways. But, yeah, fake break to the low, fake break to the high. You end up in the middle. So none of this really got resolved into any sort of imbalance and trend. That's the way I'm seeing it right now. Yeah, man. Australian dollar. Obviously, this market opens early, and they're doing some sort of up move, I suppose, maybe. It doesn't really tell us about the dollar maybe moving down. We'll take it as it comes. Yen pairs. I think we talked about this yesterday. Oh, that really overshot, though. Okay. No, I wouldn't buy this low and this late. Yeah, the news. News. We shorted here, though. I think it was there. Maybe held on to that. Well, we don't need that fib. Background. I'm just like trying to take in the background and really see if there's a clear bias. I really don't see it. I don't see it. You know, where is smart money positioned from? What price area? In what direction? Are they accumulating? Are they marking up? Are they distributing? Any of these things? What's the phase? Don't see it. So in that case, you know, it's like, I mean, the London hour trade is what it is. But besides that, and especially as you get into U.S. session, it's hard to really plot things out besides maybe buying low and selling high at obvious areas. If we have a actual balance, right? We're seeing actual ranging conditions. The yen pairs, yeah, it's just a big mess of sidewaysness, isn't it? Big old sideways moves going nowhere. You can see here. And this goes all the way back to a couple of weeks. High volume, no result. This, yeah, you could take it as weakness. That was going into Friday. And okay, so we came down. But overall, it's just a big old range here we're looking at. We can mark up levels, see how things respond. I think it's a matter of letting the big money tell you what they want to do next. But again, I have no problem, buying low and selling high in a range. So in this case, that's what I end up looking at for the overall picture of where things may be. Of course, we have London hour trade, we have scalps. But when conditions are rangy and volume is not suggesting, accumulation or distribution, that's the trade I look for. Fake breaks of the highs and lows, which are pretty consistent and reliable in ranging conditions and have a good risk reward, right? So yeah, no particular bias I have at the moment reading the chart. I think generally markets we're going to see weak US dollar, weak yen, but mainly weak US dollar return again soon. But that's kind of an assumption. The chart says what it says, and we will see. So looking for the London hour setup once again. This is my life now, looking for the London hour setup. It's a good life. I was listening to some of yesterday's live stream, and I talk too much. Why would I assume anyone wants to hear any of this junk? The story about the first time, the greenery, now that was funny. Okay, I had myself laughing. But really, I'm going to shut up today. Coffee! Coffee drinkers unite. Cheers. Clink, clink. God's gift to the working person. Very hard work here today. So we got the crew. So I was sitting around a little bored listening to somebody talk about crypto, and there are these people out there saying it's going to 100K by. Everybody's talking about early next year. That's when you get the big. By early 2024, we'll be at 100K. All right. Well, not everybody's saying that, obviously. And then 1 million. Bitcoin's going to 1 million. They say this was a big short squeeze. This move up to 24. A lot of people short got kicked out. That's for sure. I was expecting 24 when we were at 17. Just from looking at the chart, I don't know, short squeeze, whatever. Yeah, of course. Ran through a bunch of stops. I think he gave some sort of stats on how many people got kicked out of shorts, took a loss, and it was very big. It was useful. Plenty of good info as always. Well, some good info and some nonsense. The broker chat was also useful. Okay, cool. Is that true that big investors and big money traders also sell low and buy high as they get trapped? Big investors and big money traders sell low and buy high and get trapped. Well, just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you know what you're doing. So I suppose you're talking about that. I mean, I'm sure there were some people with lots of money who were short crypto. But yeah, in the long run, that is not going to work, as you know. Good morning. Need a setup? No, we never need a setup. We need to listen to the chart. O.J. Simpson. Man, we had Bernie Madoff in here yesterday. Quite a party. People who say that have big bags that need to offload. All right, GU pushing up. Let's see. 2 minutes left on this bar. Let's see how we close. We want to close at or near the high of the bar. The lower the volume, the better. And then we would expect this breakout to be real. We do have that little actual high of the day so far. Right there. But that was 5 minutes before London opened. But it's there, so let's just kind of consider this part of the deal. Let's see, we get a little info up there on the reaction. Okay, we got a bit of activity. That suggests we might get the short. Might. But that's just the 1 minute showing the initial activity into that area. That is important. But let's see where we end off here for the 5 minute close in a minute. Buying into the high of the day, huh? This is a silly little trade, isn't it? This guy. A little dip into new low ground. Because that's our level. So that's actually going to show us outside that. A bit of volume, nothing crazy. All right, we got the 5 minute close. So obviously nothing there. Here. Closing at or near the high without high volume. There's a bit of volume on that. Let's see. Higher than the previous 4. So that's not something I'm going to look to get into. If it was a bit lower, right, as we say, the lower the better. And then we have the London Open volume. Always makes things look small. So as you've been seeing, I do compare this to really the previous action. Compare it to the last half hour, 45 minutes, right? Because this is always going to be high volume. It seems like it's getting more extreme and more extreme over time, where the London Open has a really big spike, and then it just makes everything look small after. But I'm calling this high volume in this, situation because it's higher than what we were just looking at for the last half hour. And we could get the reversal, and this guy break to the downside. Now, is that high enough to go short? Could use a little more, huh? Let's see the pound yen. Don't have to take a trade today. Whatever the chart says, keep the standards high enough. It's got to be at least a 7 out of 10. 7.5. 8 out of 10. Inequality. It's not a vending machine. See what happens. We could push up, for example, and see higher volume. Again, with weakness, that would help the situation if we're shorting. This guy dipped its toe, but it's still back in the range. Volume, slight increases, nothing crazy. Okay, it's not too decisive here yet. Burger today? No, not today. What did I eat today? Can't remember. Oh, yeah, my wife got Mexican food. It was okay. Let's try it. Today we're staying on topic. Talking about trading. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Come on, that's my plan. Let me stick to it. Good morning, Mr. Phil. So nothing yet. What do I think of this short? Check another broker. Yeah, it's not high volume. It's higher than the previous 1, 2, 3, 4. Past 25 minutes. I hate having this here, right? It just makes everything look small. Well, what if we do that? I'll see the 1 minute in that new low ground again. Okay, yeah. Kind of flat. Let me check the news. I know there's no pound news, but okay. If a member speaks, yeah. U.S. session is news. Okay, nothing till then. No, I don't want to update my computer right now. Thanks. Wait, why can't you see? Oh, okay. All right. No news till U.S. session. Just thinking about, is this volume high enough for me to take the short? Higher than the previous 4. Knowing this is unusually high, we don't have to compare to this. Right? The higher the better. If it looked like this, I'd be in the short already. Well, I think if the pound is going to move down, maybe the pound yen will give the better. Let's see how the pound is doing relative to things. It's about average. Let's just compare euro to pounds, sideways. Pound Australian dollar, chop. Yeah. I don't like the short on GU, but I would consider the GJ short close outside. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If the pound is going to go down, give us the pound yen. The yen is trending up. That's nice. Okay. U.S. dollar is not. Okay. That also helps. If that happens, we get an entry and we're here and we get this, then we'll get a nice move down. Yeah. So the pound, it doesn't have any particular weakness. It's not strong, but it's just kind of there. Just comparing with others to the dollar, others to the yen. But with the yen trending up, that's not bad at all. That will help if that continues. Let's see how this is looking. It's almost good enough, right? It's almost. One minute has its spikes. They're not huge, but they're there. But I make decisions off the 5 minute. That's tough. Almost good enough. Oh, God, get out of here. Reported. Unwanted spam. All right. So yeah, as far as the pound dollar, almost good enough, but not quite good enough for me to enter the short. Pound yen. Give it to me. Hey, we get spoiled with this trade. Not every day gives a setup. Not every setup goes 50, 100 pips. Pound New Zealand dollar, I wouldn't mess with that. Not something I trade personally. But if the pound is getting weak generally, that's a good sign. I don't know if that's the case. It just might have strong New Zealand dollar. Yeah. Pound is not particularly weak. GU has a zone above it. Yeah. So let's see. Maybe we're selling the pound yen. Maybe. Let's see. What's back here? Well, we didn't make the fib retracement, did we? No. Oh, we did. I usually can eyeball it. Depends where you draw it from. I'm picking that as the high to low of the down move right there. So that does give us to the pip. Oh, wow. We drew our London hour line on the 50 fib. Interesting. Is that going to be the move today? Could be. Down to support. Okay, nothing yet. If you're new, this trade is explained in a video called London Hour Trade. That's particularly the trade we're looking for now. So, yeah, the higher the better, the volume there. I wanted a little bit more, and I would be in short already. And then looking at another broker, that's even worse. That higher volume's on that, not that. So that's the higher the better, right? Nothing stands out there. Slightly above average of the last four. Got to keep my standards high enough. I did have in my mind to try to simplify it and say, okay, if it's above this moving average, it's high. If it's below it, it's low. But I don't want to rely on that. You said it one way, you said it another way. The higher, the better, right? So that's a 6 out of 10, right? The higher the volume, the better there. And then this is a 4 out of 10. So that's how I would grade this setup. We need at least a 7. Now the question is, and you may be wondering the same, if it does this now, hits high volume to our liking and gives the setup there, is that the London hour setup, or is this the London hour setup that's not good enough and then this is something else? You know what I'm saying? Is this just simply the end? That is the failure to set up good enough, get on with life? Or does another high volume rejection say, yes, you can short, it's the London hour trade? That's a good question, huh? Yesterday's high? Yeah, probably. I mean, are you in the trade? How much do you think that? Like I said, I'm grading it a 6 out of 10, so I'm not in it. I want at least a 7. Yeah, if it goes, it goes. Are you short, Mr. Dean? Just wondering. No, oh, okay. Yeah, the yen is pulling back. That's why I can't get down there. The pound is not particularly driving itself. That's another thing I don't like. But sometimes it just is what it is. There's no particular bias on the pound itself, and the trade sets up and it works out. But it's nice to see if that's, going with the direction of what you're doing. Well, like I say, that could just flip-flop every 20 minutes, so whatever. Strong pound, weak pound, strong pound. And the dollar and the yen drive things, right? Okay, let's see. I have absolutely no problem taking this short if it sets up. Especially seeing these couple of dips to kind of test the waters there. And we don't have any sort of issue with demand coming in. slight increase, but yeah, it's nothing. That looks like a bit of weakness. This could be weakness. That's higher stuff. The initial like entry into this area, right? No demand, not any sort of high volume demand coming in to stop the move. So I'm fine with that. That situation looks good if we can get that. Where would I have entered here? 98. I'd be up 8, 10 pips. Well, not anymore. But yeah, that's the question. Is this the London hour trade still, if we get weakness here and then short? Or is this the London hour trade, take it or leave it? How long we've been doing this? Since October. And questions still arise. Little details like that. I wouldn't mind seeing this go up, just to be like, yeah, we know what we're doing. We know when not to short. Stop double clicking when I click once. This mouse. If G, where was I? If you have volume, okay, yeah. Go back to using candlesticks, says Ernest. Just for you. It looks way better and easy for newbies. Well, you can do exactly the same thing on your chart I'm doing and look at your candlesticks. I prefer this. It's the same information. High, low, close. Spread and close. The dollars are in the details. That's good. Yeah, Mr. Ernest, just follow along on your chart with your candlesticks there. I like the bars. All right. What are we going to do here? I think we're going to have a sip of coffee. Maybe we'll watch the pound dollar go up and say, nice, we're not short. Keep your standards high. No regrets. No regrets. The big difference between taking a loss on a kind of okay, not great trade and taking a loss on a, well, that's a good entry. It's a good trade. To me, there's a big difference. One could be avoided. One should be traded and traded again tomorrow. You'll probably get a win the next 4 times. So, whatever. Keep doing it. Very different things. Well, we're looking for setups in an event area. So if the first hit in the area doesn't give good enough probability, then the next setup in the same area within a certain amount of time still qualify for this. Time. If you put a time limit on it, well, the later it gets, the less I would even call this the London hour trade as we get 2, 3, 4 hours away from this. We're still in this window for the next hour and a half of being able to call something the London hour trade. So time-wise, I say it's all right. But yeah, the idea of this is the setup and it's just not good enough to take, move on, because it's the first, right, exit out of that area. And what happens there? A second time is a different thing altogether. Or is it? I'm thinking it is. This is the idea that in this hour, we built up a situation where this becomes either tradable or not. And if it's not, it's not. Now what? Right? We're going to go back here and because of these 4 candles, something is going to be, different. You know what I'm saying? It's like this hour built up this situation to either do it or not. If it's not, then it's not. I'm tending to think that. So going up here again and you know, looking at it, first of all, you're probably not going to get high volume weakness if it didn't happen the first time. But yeah, if we go up here to get the weakness, which is a trade in itself potentially, separate from the London hour. If we go up here to get weakness, that's not the London hour trade, right? It's here. It's either it happens here or it doesn't. Done. So to me, this is not it. If we pop up there and get weakness in a short, it's a regular trade. It's a, you know, volume technical analysis regular trade. I would probably have to be less aggressive on entry. I would want to test for demand rather than just saying, okay, there's a fake break, I'm going short. You know, treat it like it's just a regular trade, not the London hour trade. That's what I'm thinking. Because either it happens here or it doesn't, and it didn't. That's what I'm thinking. London hour becomes the London 4 hour. That's silly. No. I think after 1 hour it might be too long. Nah. I don't think so. I think if we ranged here, let's say we range, so this didn't happen, let's say. Or let's look at this, because this didn't set up. That's been a question, you know, what's the cutoff time? I would give it more than an hour. If this sets up for a short in an hour from now, it would be an hour and a half waiting. I'm still okay with that. The cutoff point time I've been thinking of is like 3 hours, 2.5 hours. If nothing happens by then it's a weird dead fish sort of market. It's staying in the range, right? We're talking about not setting up and then setting up. Unlike this, which is just not a setup. Period. But if this ranges for another hour and then sets up for the short, or fake break long, or whatever, or short, or long, yeah, I'm okay with it. The cutoff time, I'm not really sure. We haven't been in a situation where, and we've tested it a lot at this point. I don't think we've been in a situation where we're seeing a setup for the London hour setup, and we're saying, oh, but it's been so long. Do we take it? It's not really been an issue. Eventually it might happen, yeah. Eventually. So, yeah, I'm thinking like 3 hours. It's good to just think this stuff out. Work out these little details. Give me 1 second. Be right back.
Suppose we just look into things a little further. What's the cause of this tension anyway? Tension. What's the cause?
One day, chilling with my space brothers, I traveled through a wormhole. Appear, reappear, the stone builder, gate of the gods. Strike with that pose. Coke in an ocean, wanna be a model. What? Because she thought you gotta be thin. A little thick person, that's what dude told her. Many levels on the come up. The world could be rude and crude. Just seen a homegirl throw up. You won't regret I took steps in '88. I'm straight, a barrel click, a signature sound. You see them jakes. Just as hungry as Main Street.
All right.
A divided group, you can feel it here. 7 monks amongst creatures that took the night. Only one can explain the details, dark lights. Behave yourself.
What's funny is we're trying to guess, like when we mark up our levels and we're looking at things, we try to guess which setup it might give. And so many times we're wrong. Oh, it's probably going to give the breakout trade. Then it ends up being the fake break. I think that was yesterday. Yeah. I was like, yeah, it's probably giving the breakout long. Yeah, look at the background, whatever. I think that we were saying that yesterday. And then it's like, no, okay, we're shorting. Bam, it drops 50 pips. Okay. It's funny. It's hard to predict which trade it's going to give you. It's so weird, this trade. It's like 95% win ratio. for 2023 so far. I believe if anyone took the pound yen yesterday and didn't put a really tight stop, if you just put a regular stop, you probably got some nice profit off of the pound yen too yesterday, right? For me, it was let's cut that one short. A little position, little stop, and milk the GU. We milked it. So that was all good. But it did end up dropping pound yen as well. As long as we're not trading the guess, of course not. It's like news, you know. It's like a hobby. It's for fun. It's for fun. But in this case, it's like you want to know what's to the left. You want to know, and it's nice to have this entry align with other analysis. But there are times when it's just, it is what it is. But of course, whatever the chart says, you get surprised. It's funny. Like we're looking at this saying, it's probably going to get weakness here and come down. Watch it just close up on low volume and off it goes. But yeah, we'll see how this one plays out as another sort of a detail to work out about if it sets up, but it's just not good enough to take. Can it clean itself up, 30 minutes later? Or is it, no, it's done. I'm on the side of it's just done. It can't change. You can't change history. That was it. That's what I'm thinking. It has to do with orders that are ready to come in and the situation that's ready to happen at that price. And if it doesn't happen, moving on to the next, right? So this guy did not give the short. We're back in the middle of the range. I'm glad I'm not short here and didn't lower my standards. I'd be a little nervous. Time to sip some coffee. Mr. Dean, you closed too early. So you closed it in profit, but too early. So you had like small profit. The art of managing the trade. Is that what happened? So let's see. What did we do here? Oops, wrong. That's weird the way that mirrored. That looked like it. So the short entry was there. That was the confirmation to short. And originally, on a normal position here, the stop was at 51. I remember that. That was my initial stop on that short, 51. So obviously, that's fine. Okay, so while you're sitting in it, you got some weakness. That's nice. You're coming down, and this is where you first start to see any situation to start to manage it here. You're up about 25, 30 pips. You see some demand coming in, right? This is a nice test of support where you get an actual decrease in volume and a close at the low. So if I was managing this trade, it's hard to say in hindsight, but that's pretty obvious, right? You get in there, he stops at 51, you're all good. And that's where you start to see some demand come in. So if you closed it sooner than that, you may have been ignoring the chart and maybe just getting impatient or nervous or something. You know me, I would have taken partial profit, probably somewhere around here, stop at break even, and that doesn't get hit. And then you get the next move down, and that doesn't show strength really, as confirmed with high volume reaction until like here. Oh yeah, it seems like you should have been able to hang on unless you were doing things a little too early. Good info? Okay. Like I say, I try to wait a minimum of 20 pips before I touch anything. And then even then, it's seeing how it's behaving. And then after that, especially with stop at break even, maybe I only close a third of the trade at first, which like I did yesterday. Just close a third, whatever that was, 20 pips. And then from there, with no risk on the trade, it's just listen to the chart. It could be 80 pips before it tells you to close any more of it. It could move 10 pips and say, no, it's looking really bad. So then I just go off of what the volume's saying and, simple support resistance and things that are going on. And that can keep you in the trade. That's what gets you the big ones. Just, watch those volumes as your trade is moving along, and then watch the reaction. You can get high volume on a down move, but the next bar closes down on lower volume, and you're saying, okay, demand is not overtaking yet. Hub, how are you? Pound looks stronger than euro right now. Let's see the comparison. They look pretty similar to me. Okay, yeah, if the euro breaks here versus the pound, you're going to have strong pound, yeah. Compared to that. Okay, yeah, I see that over the last 15 minutes or so, yeah. Yeah. But those things, like I say, in my opinion, from what I see, that just sways with the wind. Strong pound for 30 minutes, weak pound for the next hour, strong pound for the next 2 hours. I always want the dollar and the yen to be driving the situation mostly. But the London hour trade is also based on the pound. Yesterday, that weak pound carried us because we didn't get much help from the dollar and the yen for a while, and we were able to keep going. Mr. Dean, okay, cool. Good to learn as often as I set profit targets as I sleep during the U.S. session. Okay. Well, that becomes like, yeah. Good morning, Coco. Yeah, if you go to sleep, that's tough. Yeah, you want to set it at a reasonable level. It's hard. It's hard to deal with that. We kind of have, I think we noticed like there's two spots. There's like that initial reasonable target. Like let's say we shorted here. Yeah, this is that first spot. And maybe you're up 20, 25 pips if you traded that sort of pattern. And unless you have high volume strength or some issue going on, there's usually, okay, what's next? If you're going to do your set and forget now, right? So what would I do? Stop at break even and maybe at support. Or draw a fib and maybe a 618. As you know, you can set a couple of targets, one at a fib area, one at support, stop at break even, and go to sleep. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff I do if I'm going to sleep with trades open. And stop at break even, or else I can't sleep. And look for those fib areas and support, resistance. And just like be realistic with it, you know. Don't set a 150 pip target just because. Sometimes the chart says to, though. So no trade yet on the London hour trade. This short was not good enough. If you know the rules, we want higher the better on volume. As I'm saying today, I want a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 if I'm grading the setup. And this is like a 6. So if you're just joining us and you didn't see, if we were a little higher on that volume, right, the higher the better. Maybe we're higher than all this. Again, this is annoying because you have high volume here and it makes everything look small. And yeah, this is higher than the previous 1, 2, 3, 4. But is it high volume? Is it enough to say, there's your weakness, you want to go short? It's just almost, but not good enough. If we were here, let's say higher than this stuff, really stood out as an important, very active thing, I would be short already off of that close. So almost, but not good enough. You got to Keep your standards. I keep saying it, like, the trade spoils you. The trade, and when you have a few really just amazing ones in a row and there's no drawdown and it's great, you might tend to, I just know this from experience, you might tend to loosen up a little bit. Yeah, it's good enough. Let's go, party time. I want to be in this trade. Yeah, it's good enough. You know, just don't do that. Like I say, again, I repeat myself, but it's the best advice I got. No regrets. So if this, right, sets up, if this dropped and I didn't get in it, as you know, I am not short, and it just went, how regrettable would that be? Oh well. I would just say, oh well. Whatever. Not the biggest deal in the world. It wasn't a great setup. Oh well. Now, what if I got short and it's a loss? I shouldn't have taken it. It wasn't good enough. I got to raise my standards. I made a mistake. So yeah, no regrets. I'd rather miss it than take a loss. Now, if it's really a good setup and I'm in it and it's a loss, I go, oh well, this thing works 9 out of 10 times. Back at it tomorrow. You know, whatever. So I know I repeat myself, but I think these things matter a lot. Very important. So again here, we're seeing not much selling. The trickiest thing that could happen for traders here, which a lot of times happens because it's all about tricking the dumb traders. Trickiest thing that could happen here just for fun while we're sitting here waiting is that. It doesn't look that tricky, but you have those chasing the long entry here. We go and get their stop. You have those chasing this short now. Ooh, it's a double top. Shorting. We get their stop. You have those chasing the breakout here. We get their stop. Yes, the market really does this. It doesn't look that tricky, but you see, everybody loses. That is a pattern that will make most traders that don't know what they're doing lose. Absolutely. So I'm going to leave it there. See what happens. That's a lot of narrow spread up bars. I think it's getting ready to turn down. OJ Simpson is here. We got celebrities. Yeah, it's not a short I would take just because I would need to see more weakness, but I do think it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna do this because that's just what the market does. In a situation like this, that's unclear. It's not good enough for me to short. I don't want to be buying. It just becomes a little day trader's bloodbath until it. You know, maybe we get the short there, whatever. Yeah, this crazy shit is my prediction right now because of what I explained. We'll see. It's just for fun. No trade at the moment. This guy hasn't confirmed anything. It's still early enough to take if it does confirm. What do we got today? We're a couple over our average. If you're new, first thing we look for in the session is the London hour trade. There's a video explaining the rules. It's only 17 minutes long. You can go watch it. That's what we're looking for. This guy almost set up. Not good enough. This guy, we're waiting to see if it sets up. I think that's a general analysis right now is the sort of indecisive situation. Here's your London Open for the Euro. It's sideways chop, volume decreasing. This guy popped up. We got some activity with no result. What's happening? Who knows? Let them figure it out. We'll play guessing games until it becomes obvious. Let's mark up some stuff in case we see it today. Yeah, I feel like there's not a high probability from this point in the charts. There's definitely things that could happen. Up moves and weakness. Patience, patience. There's the day trader's bloodbath pattern. Buyers, stop loss hit. Sellers, stop loss hit. Buyers, stop loss hit. I want to see if that happens. It's just ready. It's just ripe for that right now. Yep. Today is a reminder of that mindset. You don't have to take a trade today. Yes, the euphoria of the GU short was great yesterday. Don't get addicted. It's sunny weather, rainy, you never know. I don't know. The weather analogy. It's all good. I don't assign a negative meaning to not having a trade. Don't make it a negative thing. A wise person once said, "Oh, I'm not supposed to do this today. I'm supposed to stick to trading." Okay, forget it. So he said, don't apply a negative meaning to anything, no matter what it is. Don't define it as something negative. Define it as something positive, even if it looks terrible. Define it as that in your mind. It's a positive thing. This is gonna the chain reaction off of this event is good. This thing in itself is good. There's no built-in meaning. All right, good. Back to trading. Said I wasn't going to ramble today. And Pete, we're not here for philosophy, all right? We're here to make some money. Shut up. You're hoping 50 to 618 shows high volume, Mr. Dean. That would be nice. On pound dollar? Or generally, yeah. Generally. That'll be a nice, easy trade today. That'll be textbook, yeah. Nice, easy one. Bunch of double top fake breaks. This guy could pop in. This one's kind of far, but you have that. So, yeah, fake break. It could all line up, yeah. If smart money wants to sell, this pop-up could definitely be the chance. And then we go here, so everyone who bought here gets their stop loss hit there. I'm worried. Got it all mapped out for smart money. We'll see if they do it. So yeah, the more this is just playing around with the entry area and not confirming, the less it becomes anything to do anything with. And like I said from the beginning, as soon as this happened, I'm thinking it's over. That was the opportunity, and this is all now something else because it was all about price area. And when it first gets there, not second time or anything like that. So that's good to work out. think that's important. See if we get the day trader's bloodbath pattern. But we can conclude with this slightly higher price than we've seen today. On just medium volume, right? We're not seeing weakness. You see the close near the high, right? That suggests it's more likely to move up. Why aren't we moving up? It's tempting shorts. I think they're tempting people to short. So that's what that first line is. That should be enough to get them in, right? And then we go up. Isn't the stochastics coming out from overbought? MACD. I like it when Pete gets into his folksy wisdom. Oh gosh, don't encourage me. Do you feel your trading method works equally well across all markets? My main method, putting aside London hour trade, which is particular to the pound, yes. Yes, absolutely. Anything. I use it on anything. It's the same thing with my swing trading. I'm just on larger time frames, but it's all volume and supply and demand and buy low, sell high. Look at the imbalances, the Wyckoff phases. Yes, yes. I took a little VSA. I took a little Wyckoff. Took a little common sense technical analysis and structure. And so for everything outside of Forex, I'm just doing that on a 4-hour chart, daily chart. Yeah. Gold, oil, stocks, whatever. It is the principle of how markets work and move. Day trader's bloodbath pattern. Oh, some volume. No news, right? Nothing surprising. I've learned to refresh my Forex factory every now and then because you will get something added or taken away or changed. So it doesn't hurt to refresh this page. But yeah, we're good. High volume in the middle, dead center of a range. What to even do with that? Well, like I say, because that's a rare thing, right? It's usually at the highs or lows. But when I see volume in a weird spot like that, basically the balance point of the high and low, right in the center, look at the result. We could close up on regular volume, closing at or near the high as a result, and so on, close down. I mean, if we're going to get a short trade, I wouldn't mind this leading to a nice lower close on regular volume. And then we get our short entry, and we saw weakness before that. That's cool. I would take it anyway, but that helps. Well, this is the high volume we got, putting aside the ever-growing and lengthening, annoying high volume at the London Open. It's getting more and more outrageous, and it seems to be lasting even longer than it used to. This is a whole 45 minutes of bullshit. This is the real market activity today. This is the real thing. And that's high volume. It just throws you off looking at this stuff. I feel like it's getting worse and worse. Again, like I say, this used to not do this. It started around 2013 or so with a spike at London Open. It used to not do that. And then it would come down and it would be, okay, 2 or 3 candles bars later, you can start to trust it now. Now it's becoming about 45 minutes of chop, 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 chop on high volume. And that's why, as you see, I do nothing until the second hour now. You got to wait. By the second hour, you're here. You're saying, okay, here's the actual activity in the market to now compare things to. And we'll say, okay, that's high volume now. Right? This thing's getting worse. It's spreading. Stop doing that. But looking at that as high volume, right? And now we're finally getting a result somewhere. There may be weakness coming in generally. Obviously, that's really high, so we'd like to see the result of that. Is that a yen thing very high? No. But everything got more active. 430. Yeah, the euro dollar has that. Being patient. Good morning, good morning. OJ Simpson. Celebrity chat. When I see high volume in the middle of a range, I wonder what caused traders to become so active at that point in time. Well, I have a theory. While we're sitting here talking about trading and not other things today. It's either one or the other. Either a bunch of average-sized traders, the majority of average-sized traders, all decided at this random point in time to start getting into positions. Because we're not hitting stops or anything. We've been here. Or one big entity, 2 big entities, did a really big move. Which is more likely? That's somebody. Somebody did that. That's the way I see it. Lehman Brothers? Yes. Which one? Both of them. Bernie Madoff. It's a big amount of money all of a sudden at once. It's got to. I think it could be possibly one bank or one company or whatever that may even just need to make an exchange of currency. They need to do it. They consider this a good average price, and they did it. Maybe it was frickin' Boeing, and they have employees all over the world, and they need cash and all kinds. Who knows? But I feel like it's not a consensus among small traders. All of a sudden, that doesn't make any sense. So then I'm thinking it could be literally one company that just had, a few $100 million that they needed to exchange from one currency to another for whatever purpose, and being in the middle of this range gives them a decent average price to do that, and they did it. Who knows? We can theorize. And you say, but why there? Because in those cases that we're talking about, having to exchange currency for the purposes of running your business, you're not a trader, so to speak. They still want to get a good average price. They're looking at the average price. This is a thing. The volume weighted average, the VWAP, some people use that as considering, okay, we need the actual trader, the bank or whatever, to get us a good exchange rate. We want a good rate. And the VWAP is universally accepted, or an good average price is universally accepted as okay. And then I'm seeing, well, it's in the middle of the range. So that's an average price. That's my thoughts. And if this is coming in as weakness, and there was suddenly large selling by really a small group, but they just have a lot of money that they got to exchange, well, maybe they're looking to do that and continue to do that. And if there's lack of demand, that's going to push it. Who knows how much effect one entity could have. BlackRock. BlackRock needs to pay employees all over the world. All right, they need they've done some assessment of what currencies they're holding and how much currencies they're holding, and they go, oh shit, we need 500 million more. So and so, we got to make this exchange. And we're going to do this over the next hour, and it's going to come in as, you know, supply coming in. We got to sell this and buy that. Who knows? It's a logical theory, right? There you go. I can't prove it. All right. Day traders bloodbath pattern. Bloodbathing. This is just for fun. I'm not in a trade. I'm not trading this. I guess we could have. We would have been okay on the short. Yeah. So far, right? We'll be up 10 pips with a bit of a scare. But as I said, I'd rather skip a setup that's not very good and see it play out than take the setup that's not very good and get a loss. And again, if you're learning the setup, looking at this, it was almost good enough for me. Needed a little more volume to convince me to go short. Almost. Not quite good enough. AJ. Does AJ want to resume the... Are we calling it a downtrend? Whatever. Let's see what's going on there. What's this looking like? If this breakout isn't showing much demand, we could keep an eye on this for a break test continuation, meet up with 14 EMA perhaps pattern, and look to sell that. See what it looks like down here. Maybe it's a rogue employee embezzling money. Yeah, who's going to notice? A few hundred mil. Missing from the BlackRock account. Who's going to notice? Hey, trader's bloodbath pattern. Hey, maybe I should trade it. I'll trade it on my side account. No, I won't. So every day is different. Yesterday was amazing. January was amazing. But there are going to be no trade days. Pound dollar, pretty much given up on that, for sure. The London hour trade, over. No trade. This guy, no problem. Let's see if we can get it. Keep getting stuck in the middle. And again, as far as anything else, I kind of like the AJ situation. If we have yen continue to trend up, maybe. So there's your dip into new low ground for the day. No, it's just a dip below support. Okay. Oh, I want that little fib in there too. today's stuff. Ah, okay. 618 overshoot. I'm slacking on my fibs. So that is very bearish. Yes. If buyers were interested in buying this, this is a spot that they would very often come in, not just because it's 618 overshoot, but of course because it is, but also this obvious support and the fake break with demand coming in. Not there. So this is highly likely, and you see the close near the low, highly likely to be a real breakout. So let's see if we get maybe a test, break test continuation pattern. It's always nice when it meets up with the 14 EMA. Maybe it'll have to be a little later for that. And consider a short there. It wouldn't be terrible to take it at this point. I kind of hate chasing breakouts. It's not like we're breaking out of a range, which is different. This is really actually trending down and just getting in at the worst price right now. So let's see if we get a pretty much a scalp entry off the 14 EMA combined with the break test. So potential AJ short. That's looking decent. Weak Australian dollar. Yeah, quite weak. And do we have strong yen also to help with that AJ short potentially? Well, it's ranging. But breaking above there and going for it. Yeah, we could get a decent scalp. Patience, patience today. Every day's different. Don't get too excited. On some music, roll a doobie. What's my word of the day? Yesterday was hashtag grateful. I need a word of the day. It has to present itself. Patience? That's too generic. I'm going to be professional today. I was listening to this dude. See if I play it. Will you guys hear it? Maybe.
Bitcoin and gold don't like good charts. I'm pretty comfortable saying that was the bottom, right? I thought the bottom was 17.8 on June 15th. I really thought that was the bottom.
Right.
But I said I didn't see FTX being a complete fraud. That wasn't on my bingo card. So, we lost another couple grand to that. That's actually pretty good when you think about it. There were a lot of good charts that said 10 to 12 was really the lower level that we should have hit, and we didn't get there. So GBT unravels. Tether
Sure.
turns out to be a total fraud.
Dang.
Deltec Bank
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
running money for, some crime syndicate. Then maybe 10 to 12 comes into play. But I don't think anything lower than that. And I'm very comfortable saying the 15 was it. And we're back into spring. I'm not even sure we're going to, head back through the 18 level. I think the best thing to watch is higher lows and higher highs. So as long as we keep making higher lows, I'm comfortable that we're in a bull period. This was definitely a short squeeze, right? The last 3 weeks, total short squeeze. Now we need to see signs of accumulation. If we see signs of accumulation, that'll be really, really good. And I said, my belief is April, May is the beginning of the 9-month run through the halving, which I think
he's absolutely right. He knows what he's talking about.
And we're going back to that 3 trillion level. And I think that's coming. And it doesn't have to come tomorrow, and it doesn't even have to come next month or even by April, May. I think it's Q1, Q2 of next year.
Mark Yusko, founder and chief investment officer of Morgan Creek Capital Management, shared his belief that now is the time to be buying Bitcoin and crypto, as he believes going into 2023 is the birth of a new bull cycle as we exit the crypto winter of 2022. He predicts that in the run-up to the next Bitcoin halving next year, Bitcoin will get to $100,000 and then go on to hit $1 million per coin in due time. Yusko also believes that we have now seen the bottom of markets following the FTX collapse and are now in the crypto spring. A crypto spring is characterized as the price bouncing around, not hitting new lows but also not having any sustainable upwards price action. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where Yusko breaks down why he believes crypto is inevitable as capital flows from baby boomers to younger generations, and why he believes the 4-year cycle is still completely intact. Also, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy finance content, consider subscribing or liking the video. It's free and you can always change your mind.
So a couple things. So on the macro side, I don't think we're out of the woods. I don't think we're on the precipice of some calamity. I've said for probably the last year that this recession, and I actually believe we're in the recession. I think they'll call it retrospectively. They'll say it probably started March, April last year, and we're probably closer to the end than we are to the beginning, but it's a shallow recession. Very similar in my mind to the 01 recession. 01 didn't even really feel like a recession other than the fact that things got exacerbated by the lockdowns following 9/11. If you go back to 2001, it was interesting in that we had the tech bubble starting to bust. First quarter GDP was negative. Second quarter GDP was marginally positive. Third quarter was negative, exacerbated by 9/11. And then fourth quarter was positive. The whole year, GDP was actually up 1%. We're still waiting on fourth quarter number. With the fourth quarter number, last year is probably going to be a positive number. But we still had 2 negative quarters, January, February. Third and fourth quarter weren't real. What I mean by that is most of the GDP was simply the resale of the oil from the SPR, which is just a bogus way to create GDP, but is what it is. It's like retail sales numbers. Retail sales numbers do 2 things that are just silly. You think about the future. We got bad demographic trends, right? We got a lot of people from our age cohort, the boomers, that are turning 65 to 85 and starting to retire. And that's negative for productivity. It's negative for working age population growth. GDP equals working age population growth plus GDP. Both of those are sub 1%. So other than, cheating like by selling oil in the SPR, it's going to be tough to get greater than 2% GDP. So it's going to feel not very good. You throw on top of that the Fed continuing to tighten. Everybody says, oh, they're pivoting. Well, they haven't pivoted yet. They slowed the pace of tightening from 75 to 50. And now people are saying, oh, it's going to be 25 this month. Maybe. We'll see. But even that is still hiking. That's not cutting. And so I think the macro is still a headwind, is that. Now, on crypto, I think we're in the middle of one of the great short squeezes of all time. And it's not just crypto. It's everywhere, right? If you look at this month, right, the first 3 weeks of January, the crappier the company, the more money they lose, the worse the business, the more it's up. Peloton, Zoom, GameStop, AMC, 60, 70, 80% this month. Forget, over any meaningful period of time. And we're talking 3 weeks. Now, the problem is, when you're down 95% and then you rally 80%, you're still down, in the 90s. So it's not really that good. But there's a interesting thing going on this year, Paul, that hasn't happened for a long time. So years ago, there used to be something called the January effect, where people would sell their losers in December for the tax loss.
Right.
And they had to wait 30 days to buy them back. So in January, all the stuff that was horrible the year before did really, really well. And it was known as the January effect. And it was really small cap and micro cap names by and large. And that's where the excess returns for the year came from. Well, they changed the tax laws a number of years ago that made mutual funds sell by October 31st, not December 31st. And so the January effect got shifted to November. So if you look in the middle of November, just about every year, you have this 2-3 week period where the crappiest companies, right, the things that were just horrible all year, did really well. And you didn't get the January effect. Well, this year, last year was so bad. Like everything was down. Stocks were down, bonds were down, small cap, large cap, international, emerging markets, everything was down, crypto. So the regular folks actually did some tax loss selling. So those tax loss sales were of the horrible companies like Peloton and Zoom and AMC.
Right.
And they now are rallying in a huge short squeeze. And Bitcoin, I think I have this right. Binance just had
Hey. Yeah, a lot of people don't know what they're talking about, but this guy, I tend to agree with. Figured I'd play it while we're sitting here not doing much. That's all. Snakiest, how are you? Apparently I decided I'm not going to... Well, I'm waiting for potential setups. I've decided not to ramble so much and be a little more professional. Serious, man. We're very serious. Trading is very serious. Live streaming on YouTube is very serious. But yeah, before the stream, I was just listening to this guy. I just click on these things. Some people are just so off, and a lot of people are off, and what the hell? And then every now and then you run across somebody who's like, oh, that's what I said. Oh, it's like word for word. That's what I thought. So I tend to agree with this guy. The name of the guy talking. Well, here's the video. So I'll play it. There's a few minutes left. Here's the info on the video. If you could see it, let me see. Can you see it? Yeah. There's the name of the yeah. Okay, you can see it.
for a $500 million collapse of shorts on their platform. So we are way oversold. I'm sorry, way overbought. We are as overbought as I've ever seen Bitcoin. So I still believe we're in crypto spring. Crypto winter's over. We got through Hurricane Sam, which I didn't anticipate. And that's where we went. We were at kind of 18,000, and that's what I thought was the bottom. And then we had Hurricane Sam that took us down to 15. And now, we got back to 18. That to me is spring. Spring is choppy, ugly, not really up and to the right. Up and to the right is summer. Summer's still 3, 4, 5 months off in anticipation of the halving. So could we have a retracement back to 18 before we head? There are a lot of people saying we're going to be new all-time highs this year. Possible, definitely likely in early 24. Here's an interesting stat. Every halving adds a zero, meaning it increases the market cap of the Bitcoin asset by tenfold. So we went from 1 to 10 in the first halving. Then we went from 10 to 100, then from 100 to 1,000, went to 10,000 in the last one. And I think, January, February next year, we go to the 100K. And we'll surpass that, because then the next one after that, brace yourselves, right, is 1 million 4 years later in 2028. People say that could never happen. No, it will happen. It's just going to take time. Forgot about earlier was you got the fundamentals on one side, and then you have the monetary piece on the other side. And here's the thing. Bitcoin and gold don't like quantitative tightening.
Right,
They
right.
don't like money supply growth shrinking. So we actually have had in recent months the first time in 60 years money supply actually shrink. So if the Fed follows, see, Japan already pivoted. If the Fed follows, then that'll be good. Because the thing that people forget, one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. We don't price it in Bitcoin, we price it in dollars. So the reason that Bitcoin goes up over time isn't because Bitcoin gets better. It's
All right, let me pause that for now. What do we think of this AJ short, huh? I'm considering. We're really rejecting quick off of that 14 EMA. Considering the AJ short, I don't want to lose a decent price here. If you know my scalp method, there's that. There's the 618 overshoot on low volume, suggesting it's going to continue down. So I hope it doesn't just drop without me here. I don't want to rush it. Considering the AJ short. Meanwhile, London hour trade, no setup today on the pound dollar. Not good enough for me to take. This was just for fun, that projection. Even to be just kind of stalling here. Pound yen didn't set up. Could potentially. Don't want to wait too long. Hopefully soon it sets up. But we're sitting in the middle of that range, so nothing to do there. Mark Yusko. There you go. Seems like he knows what he's talking about. Rather than a lot of people who definitely don't. There's the close. Well, we certainly rejected the 14 very well. We certainly don't have strength that we'd be selling into. I kind of like this trade. Do we expect the yen index? Yeah, nice little reversal. Australian dollar, is that going to continue to be weak? Maybe like a 12, 15 pip stop. All right, I'm going to put position on the AJ short here. A little scalp on the AJ short. I'm in that trade. And put my stop at 91.39. That's like so much room. Wow, it doesn't have to even be that big. Let's go with 3.6, 3.7. That's 10 pips. Cool. So I'm short AJ here with a 10 pip stop. If you know my scalp method, that's an entry, nice and easy. If you know the 618 reaction, that could potentially show strength. We have the opposite of that. We have really lack of any demand coming in there. It's likely off of this pattern now, right, to try to break the low. And that's the scalp. Anything after that is a bonus, and we'll manage the trade. But let's see, we can try to break the low. Maybe grab a little bit of the scalp profit and then see. $10 stop, nothing big. A little scalp, a little appetizer. Well, we'll see if it runs, but at least to there would be nice. Pound yen doesn't want to get out of the middle of the range. Wow. So yeah, if this guy can move up, that'll get the AJ going. Just this alone will have the scalp work out. We've had a weak Australian dollar today so far, so we have that on our side. Oh, behave. Do I have enough room on the stop? 36. Yeah. Okay. Why does it say it's 4 pips away when it should be 6? Is that spread? My broker is showing a price of 32 right now. Well, this is showing 30. All right, I'll put my stop back to where it originally was. What was it, 39? All right. That's a little weird. All right, my stop's at 39, 12 pips. That's where originally I wanted to put it anyway. Let me see another broker. Yeah, that looks a little more normal. Okay. See if the scalp works out and the 14 EMA protects us here. It would be odd if it went up from here, having such a low volume reaction down here. Normally you see this 618 stuff, you go. Oh, behave. It still seems more likely no matter what. I expect that the probability is to break this low. But, you know, there's only so much drawdown I'm going to allow on a scalp. So, in this situation, it should just go anyway. Otherwise, no big drawdown or loss. I like the trade. I like the probability in it. See if it behaves. What happened with the pound yen? I mean pound dollar. We're all just going sideways there. Huh? Sideways since London opened on the dollar pairs, except for the Australian dollar that had a bit of a rundown. But yeah, that's pretty sideways. The US dollar sideways. And there's like not much going on besides the Australian dollar being weak. It's like the only real thing happening here. The great pound yen for London. 2.5 hours of nothing. Come on, scalpy scalp. Don't fail me now. AJ short. Stop at 3.9. 12 pip. It's a good pattern. It's a good situation. No regrets for me. I like it. If it's a loss, so be it. It's rare. It's got to test your patience a little bit. And nothing else is interesting, is it? There's just nothing going on. Come on, yen. Well, hopefully we get going. The thing is, this is nice and trending to the left, but generally things aren't trending. We're seeing range, range, range. So hopefully we're not just getting caught in the dead fish range kind of situation. See if the weakness on that Australian dollar at least gives another leg down. Oh, yeah, I forgot you were asking about Bitcoin 5 minute. Yeah, I don't day trade it at the moment, just the swing trading. But let's see. And you're saying you see some signs of strength, but the price is not moving. Is this then a short opportunity? Well, if you're seeing signs of strength, I wouldn't short. Let's see. Well, if you're trending down, you would want sign of weakness. You know, simply technically speaking. I'm completely out of context here. I'm just looking at the 5 minute with no background. But this is all range, range, range. Not much of interest here. And then we're breaking out and we're seeing some buying. And then again, some buying. So it's a bit of accumulation type of activity. If you're seeing buying into down moves followed by lack of supply, then you're going to have an imbalance to the upside. But it was quiet, 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 and now lower prices are attracting some demand. So from there, again, you can see lack of supply is going to move up. Or you'll see a lower result after that demand, and it's not really trustworthy to buy. But again, you have that. You have closing in the middle, high volume. If you get a bullish reaction, you're seeing buyers come in here. That's the facts at the moment. Not much else to say about that 5 minute chart. It's no, it's not that informative. It's not that active. What's your opinion on the Pelosi bill to ban stock trading by lawmakers? I didn't know she is putting forward that bill. That's right. She can put forward bills now. She must be retiring because that would cut into her income. I think what's my opinion? Well, you're telling me about it. I didn't know. So I think it's for show and it's probably not going to pass. And why would they all vote to take away their income? On both sides. That's weird. I mean, it's a known fact that she's doing insider trading, and that's why she's so rich. It's just a known fact. So for her to do something like that, it's smoke and mirrors and bullshit. I don't know. Oh, I got you. So it's to stop people like her. Gotcha. Her name's on the bill because she does it. So it's kind of the stop Pelosi and all the rest bill. Okay, right. I think I got it right. Obviously, if you're a lawmaker of any kind, you should not. I mean, you're creating policy that could help and hurt companies. The conflict of interest is just absolutely ridiculous between doing what's best for the American people and doing what's best for these companies that are going to make you money and bribes and lobbyists and all that bullshit. Obviously, it's a conflict of interest. I think people should work in government 4, 6, 8 years total. There should be a law against being in government more than 8 years in any position. So during that span of your life, you're not allowed to trade. That's all. That makes sense to me. Is it kind of like putting a lock on the fridge when you are dieting? Suppose. But yeah, I'm just hearing about it now. See what happens. Pound yen. Nothing yet. This guy, we need you. Multiverse manipulation time. Ah, there it is. Let's see if it works. Oh, maybe not. Range, range, range. Everything's getting rangy. And this guy was trending. Don't stop trending. Look at that activity just dying out. Is that everywhere? Ooh, it is. It is. You see the volume really got low everywhere and just the whole market got quiet. Meanwhile, I need a trending move to continue. That's rough. I mean, that's after I got in. Look at this. Dying activity. Quite low volume for this time of day. Quite low. Do I have a time limit on scalps? Well, not a time period that's preset, but this is a momentum-based move, and the longer it goes, the less good it is. I mean, we're dealing with small stops, small targets, so it's not like you're waiting a long time. But as far as that, the only thing that comes to mind is, yeah, if we're sitting here chop, 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 we've lost the whole point of this, just testing this area and continuing. The longer it sits there, we lost the momentum. You could tend to just say, okay, I'm going to trim it down at break even or get out at break even. We want the momentum. Meanwhile, everything went quiet. Check the other broker. Yeah, the last 20 minutes. Wow. Serious lack of any action. Look at that. Where'd all the traders go? It's a lunch break. So again today, the short setup on the pound dollar for the London hour trade, not good enough. Didn't take it. Pound yen didn't even give any sort of entry, good or bad. It's amazing how long it's just sitting in the center of this range, and we're just lost activity. It feels like a Friday in August. Where is everybody? Oh, I just saw Josh Hawley. I don't even know who that is. I've stopped paying attention. I take breaks, and then I get sucked in. My breaks are becoming longer and longer. I don't even care anymore. Oh, gosh. I'm burnt out on this government. I'm burnt out. We've been infiltrated. By globalists and criminals. Tired of it. I'll say this, though. I mean, a government isn't not likely to make laws that are going to impede its own members from receiving good things, such as money. If it does actually pass and actually puts an end to them being able to take advantage of lawmaking and trading at the same time, if it actually passes, well, something decent might be happening. A little ray of sunshine poking through. Don't get my hopes up, though. This bar got my hopes up. What do you think? Get out of break even? It's a fine line between balls of steel and ignorantly not getting out of a trade when you probably should. I think this is the time. Like, it's got to go with this quiet market. Can we do this? Look at this activity. So quiet. So quiet. The great pound yen, huh? The worst pattern in the world, right? You know, I hate it. I hate it. I'm triggered. The wedge. Undying volume. The ultimate sign of the market doesn't care. It's not doing anything. Nobody's doing anything. I mean, they can't be waiting for this. Wait. Is this... Did they change the time? I'm bugging. 9:15. Okay. Three hours? Yeah, I guess they could be waiting. Yeah, I guess they could. I'm down about 3 pips on the AJ short scalp. Losing activity in the market. While I'm looking for a momentum, a down move momentum to continue. Off a small retracement, can we do it? This guy's dying out. We need this. Time to pull out some magic. Well, according to the multiverse theory, here he goes. Everybody's turning their volume down. There's a reality in which there's a bar that does this and closes at its low. According to the multiverse theory, there is a reality where this does this, it closes here. The further you get away from things that are probable, harder it is to get to that reality. Like two trains on different tracks and they're moving away. Oh God, here he goes. Yeah, watch it drop. Every possible outcome exists. Let's find this one. I think I found it. So wide ass bar closing right there and say bam, we got the scalp. Doctor Strange. Alright, I'm done talking about it. You can turn your volume back up. Matt, how are you? Australia and Japan is closed. Does that matter? No, not to me. I will trade this pair for another, 5-6 hours. It's fine. What matters more is at the moment, generally, the market has gotten really quiet for this time of day. And I'm in a trending move that I need one more leg down for the scalp. I almost just want to see it get here and just move my stop to break even and whatever. What was my entry? 27. What are we at? 26. 25. Is this the right reality? I think I found it. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, according to the rules of the scalp trade, how much did I buy here? According to those rules, I'm closing half my position. I have my window open to close half the AJ scalp short. This was the scalp target that I now am allowed to do something with. Alright, so I'm taking that. Watch it pop up when I close. Okay, so half the trade is now closed on the AJ short scalp. And moving stop to break even. I see no reason not to leave half my position on. Okay, stop at break even on the AJ short scalp. I'm only up a few pips, but a leg down at this point, or else forget it, right? What do we want? A double bottom and we're still short, right? Do it or don't. You know what I'm saying? If we get this, here's entry price. plus spread, move it down a little. If we get this, I'll get out at break even. Off a failed breakout, off a double bottom, right? Sounds good to me. Oh, I just mentioned it, Tom. Yeah, so it was the close here. So 28, and then, spread, so a little bit lower than 28. This is the scalp method. I basically have 3 methods of trading. The London hour trade, the scalp, and then what do we call it? Calling it the bullseye trade, because it's kind of the move of the day that you map out early. So those are the 3. So this will be a scalp, which is confirmed entry here. And then looking for this to attempt to break the low is pretty much the very high probability move off of that entry. I don't know if you know the method. So from there, I'll typically close some and then assess the situation. If there's a lot of strength, I can close it all. It wasn't a big move pip-wise, and again, I just like to, at this point, I'll leave it, because if we get a bounce and a double bottom, we fail to break, right? What good is it? I got a little bit of profit, whatever. Or we actually do it. So either I make a little or I make a decent amount. So I like where I am now with that. The mighty pound yen. Oh, we're actually moving, huh? Oh, hey, look. Hey, buddy. I think we're in the right reality. Thanks, yen. Let's go. Hey, who needs the London hour trade when we got scalps? Oh gosh, there it is. Yeah, we're definitely. I found the right timeline. This is it. Oh, I forgot to do after this. Okay, so we got there. Now I'll do this one for you. Meditate. Well, that's rough. You got to work with probability on these things. And we're seeing volume come in. But whatever, no risk on the trade. It does what it does. I watched the video about London hour trade. No other yet. Tom. Okay, cool. And on that, we did not have an entry today. Snakiest. Pete, when you have a smaller stop, no one's going to ask about multiverse manipulation. Okay. When you have a smaller stop on scalps than regular trades, do you increase the lot size to compensate for that? Well, I certainly can, risk-wise. I certainly can. In this case, I didn't go that big. In this particular case, no. It was like actually only a little bit bigger than my pound dollar short yesterday, which had I think a 20-something pip stop, much bigger. But risks-wise, I certainly can. In this case, I didn't. I could say, oh yeah, I went big, guys. Nah. I stayed on like similar to my normal sized lots on like a 25 pip stop. But then with a 12 pip stop, it's nice low risk. So that's what I did in this case. I went with the low risk, normal size position, but like half the stop I planned for, so therefore low risk. But see, this is a good position to be in when you take the scalp, and the really high probability is to try to break that. And so from that point, it's either a real breakout or it actually fails. You get a double bottom, a fake break. And that's not even something you want to be in and have it draw down, right? We're trying to get momentum to continue. So a double bottom is a good way to say, okay, so then we're out. So you finally asked. Coco, of course you're going to ask. I see, thanks. So in essence, half the size. Exactly, yeah. In my mind, I have 25 pips stop, right? The way I approach it is 25 pips stop is my average. Sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller. So, but it gives me a point of reference. And then I go, okay, how many lots for the amount of money I want to risk? How many lots do I use with a 25 pip stop to risk the right amount of money? And then on the fly, I can make decisions. Okay, I know this is going to be a 30 pip stop. Let me go smaller. Let me use 3/4 of those lots. Or in this case, let me use the same amount I always use, but it's a 12 pip stop, so I know it's about half risk. It gives me that that reference point, you know. So yeah, multiverse manipulation. Well, I don't know if you've heard. You probably have. I'm tending to believe the idea. You know, we're talking about the mechanics of reality. Here we go. Half of you going to turn your volume down. The mechanics of reality are very interesting to me. And I tend to believe the idea after much research and trial and error that the multiverse theory, where every possible outcome of anything exists, every possibility exists, and you're constantly going through. It's a lot to get into, and it's kind of nuts. Some people are going to think I'm crazy. Anyway, who cares? So. Sorry, I got to clear my throat. Let me get a drink. So this is what I believe. I could be totally wrong. Of course, you know, I have to make disclaimers about everything I say, because I don't want people making life decisions based on some guy on the internet. So each reality is static. There's nothing moving. The analogy is the film, you know, frames in a movie. Each frame is a still frame, but when they're going by fast enough, you get the illusion of motion and time. I actually believe that to be true. And there's a lot of questions that arise if that's really the case, and I have dug into those questions and found answers that make sense. But you go down, what you experience is it's sort of a reflection analogy. So, you know, or the state that you're in affects what you're gonna, which reality you're gonna experience. I don't know if I'm the best at explaining this, but. New York session, I trade. Usually I will look for a trade. I do not stream during that time, though. I mean, there's a lot to get into with that whole thing. It's like, I mean, it's based on the idea that everybody is actually experiencing their own reality. Let's see if I get my stop at break even hit. It's like a pip away. 2 pips away. That everyone has actually experienced their own reality. They're the only one in it. Well, there's only one being. But anyway, see, I'm going down a rabbit hole. I can't even explain it all. Everyone is the one. But everyone gets to be Neo. But if you're the only person experiencing everything, everybody else is your version of them. It's your version of everybody else. You go through still frames that reflect your state, reflect your beliefs. Your beliefs affect what you experience. So a lot of it is really just believing 100%, number one, that We're talking about a trade. I mean, I don't. I'm not telling people to go trade like this. Okay, I get into a position and then I meditate. I start praying. Okay, don't do that. But the idea of believing it to the point where you're pretty sure, you get yourself to believe 100% this is going to happen, and you attach positive emotions to that. I know it sounds weird, but you believe it 100%. You believe that that's the best outcome. And it's a very positive feeling. There's no fear involved. There's no hope. It's just you know for a fact this is where you want to go. And it's hard to explain. All right, you can turn your volume back up now, people who are not interested. Multiverse or string theory is still the most accepted theory in regards to try to explain how gravity fits into the laws of the universe. Gravity is a weird thing. Yeah, it's been taught weird and oversimplified. I'm not sure it's really the idea that space-time is bent and things get attracted by. It still doesn't quite explain gravity. Just because you bend space-time with mass doesn't explain why things get sucked into it very well to me. I don't know. I think that's a weird explanation. But yeah. The multiverse to me is how it works. It's a really crazy rabbit hole when you keep going with that. So you're the only one in your reality. There's nobody else there. Everybody else is a reflection of actually you. It's just it's your version of them. And whatever story arc you experience in life, the caricature that you play, is really your own story. And I think by the end of it, you realize, oh shit, I'm the only one here. It's like the holodeck in Star Trek. You ever in life, shit's going on and you're just like, I'm waiting for somebody to say computer end program, and the whole thing stops and you're like, I knew it. You know what I'm talking about? All right, I'm done. That's all. So trading, it's good. We took a proper setup here. Followed my rules on a scalp entry. I got a little profit in the bank. Stopped at break even. No London hour trade confirmed today. So let's see if we could go to the reality where this goes here now. This one worked. Let's see if we can keep going. Oh my God. What's really funny is, my wife knows about this stuff because you think I don't talk about this stuff. And then she's like, you have to see Doctor Strange. Is that his name? Doctor Strange, right? Yeah. Like the first one that came out, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. I don't know. But not the second one. The first one, Doctor Strange. And they talk about this. I'm like, holy shit. Whoever made this movie knows a lot. Wow. So go watch Doctor Strange. So I'm Doctor Strange. All right, cool. Sam, you occasionally feel that way? Yes. You are seeing the truth, I believe. Just realize there is no spoon. Exactly. There's no spoon. There's no nothing. There is no out there. Here we go, AJ. There is no out there. Imagine that. Imagine there is no out there. It doesn't exist. There is no space. There is no places. There's nothing. There's nothing out there. It's all, you're the dreamer and the dreamee. It's just one thing, whatever you want to call it, having a dream, pretending that things exist for the sake of experiencing it. And everybody is that thing. You're that thing. I'm that thing. You know, when people take DMT, oh, we're all one. I realized that everything is one. Yeah, it's one thing, having a dream. That's what everything is. And then it's like broken down into fractals. It's like a... I get sucked into it. You're getting me going. Trading, Q, physics, and Star Trek. I found the perfect channel. There you go. Tilda Swinton does the Indian swastika in Doctor Strange movie. My Indian teacher taught me how that works. Okay, so you've learned a little about this. I know that symbol stood for things historically before it was used in World War II. But, so, okay, maybe you learned some things about this, yeah. I figured you probably dove into this a little bit. But it's like the way I'm interested in the mechanics of the market and trading, I'm also interested in the mechanics of reality for the rest of my life, you know? I want to know what the hell's going on. Who knows? You know, that's not good enough for me. Well, yeah, find out when you die. That's not good enough for me. I want to know what the hell's going on. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do anything, really. So, you know, it's like trading. You know, you use the indicators, they don't work. You use the advice, Tony Robbins or something, I don't know. It doesn't work. Nah, I got to figure this out. So I took the same approach to life as I did to trading. I need to figure this out. I need to understand what's going on to the extent where at least where my decisions are making sense based on really how it works, not just some other way. And that's where I ended up. And you test these things, you know, you do stuff to kind of test it, and when you see results, it's pretty freaking amazing. I mean, there's even a school of thought where you could say, okay, I take the London hour trade, I take the 14 EMA scalp here, right, this and that, and I found an edge in the market that works. Or I found something that I believe enough to actually experience it. And maybe somebody trades another way, and they're trading the opposite of me, but they believe it enough. It's called a permission slip. You give yourself permission to believe it by having a physical thing trigger you to believe it enough to experience it, but it actually is not the cause. All right, that's it for today. That's good discussion. Yeah, Star Trek is funny you mention Star Trek because they definitely, again, like Doctor Strange, they know some things. They're not just making this up sci-fi. They know some things. Q is pretty interesting. The character Q, yeah. El Capitan. Oh gosh, you're putting. Oh, don't ask me that. All right, why not? So, what do I think about the Bible? My own opinion, because who cares, right? It's just one guy. It's whatever. I'm not a guru or something. I think the Bible is misinterpreted a lot. I think a lot of the original meaning has been lost. Some of it. If we're talking about the New Testament. I don't think it was meant to create a church of followers. I think it was meant to create leaders. I think more of the message was originally, right, this is the way to be. When Jesus says, I am the way. I am the way that you should be. Not I'm the way, follow me, like some sort of lesser, dirty, lower thing that needs to blindly listen to what I say because I'm better than you. I think his message was more, this is the way. Be this way. And I think for the sake of, you guys know. It was twisted in such a way where it gives certain people power and money and things get corrupt. That's my answer on that. Coco, yes, exactly. You're saying the same thing. It's real and it's based on real events, and Jesus existed and he did things that blew people's minds, and this is the way to be. I am the way. Be this way. There's plenty of times that he says you can do this too. And you're reading this going, oh wow, that's nice of you to say, Jesus, but I can't do what you did. But he says you can, if you believe it for what it is, if you believe that part hasn't been changed. And also, if we're talking about the multiverse stuff and how that fits in, right? What did I say? I have to believe it 100%. They were doing this. I have to believe it 100%. That's part of it. And what does the Bible say about faith and belief? And your belief has saved you. Your belief system creates your reality. If I'm not mistaken, Jesus didn't do miracles in his hometown because people didn't see him as that. They didn't believe it. But when he'd venture out, who is this guy? I have no preconceived idea. It was a little easier to believe and therefore see. It all kind of works together. All right. Money games, yeah, you're saying the same thing, exactly. I am the way means I'm not your master that you have to. I got the keys to a good heaven. You better do what I say because I got the keys. You better submit. No, be this way. There you go. If he's a leader, you be a leader. I think we all agree. So how about this trade? Yeah, again, it comes back to beliefs. So you're saying doubt is downfall, yeah. Negative thoughts are absolutely terrible things. I heard somebody say, the point is negative thoughts are terrible. Forget negative thoughts. Forget it. Remove it from how you operate. Remove negative thoughts. And then if anything goes on that normally someone would... should I close a little more of this? It is a scalp. I think I'll close up a little bit more. What do I have left? Half my original position. I could close half of that. A little less than half of that. Why is it? I gotta restart the app. Meanwhile, it's moving up while I restart the app. Oh well. Okay, so I closed a little bit more. It's a scalp. Now I have a little piece running, and we'll see where it runs to. A little something. That's cool. Maybe we get a little more. Maybe it'll run to 91. It'll actually be something decent off a little scalp with a 12 pip stop. Let's see what else we can maybe milk. It's just discussion. But I think negative thoughts are terrible, are bad for you. It's poison. something goes on that normally someone would consider a negative thing. This person left me, dumped me. I got kicked out of my house. I got a flat tire. Who's going to say, oh, nice, good? Most people say, oh, that's bad. Oh, that's too bad. That's unfortunate. That's a negative thing. If you actually remove that from how you see things, it's much better. And you're also able to have a little gratitude for what you do have. And it all kind of works together. But yeah, that's something to try if you're interested. No negative thoughts. Don't assign negative meaning to anything. How many times has something looked bad, but then actually worked out better than in the end? Yeah, go with that. Believe that. All right. Am I done? Anyway, so AJ, short scalp, shorting, pound yen. Hey, it almost set up. Nobody said anything. No entry there. This guy, whatever. So what did we have? A little run up on the yen. Yeah, we got what we needed for the scalp there. Little increase run up on the U.S. dollar and the yen, pushing things down. But the market is very quiet. You see the dying activity, the ranging price. And then the yen finally pushed up a little bit from manipulating the multiverse. But nothing else I would get into until we get some actual volume coming back. I don't see me getting into anything while the volume is staying this flat. So, for now, a little piece of AJ, maybe run more. At least got something in the bank today. That was the entry. Little scalp action. But key to this scalp, because you guys, a lot of you know that 14 EMA rejection scalp in a trending move is, of course, that low volume, but also seeing that it's at the 618 overshoot where buyers will show up if they're interested. So it's particularly not there. So when you hit the 14 EMA and start to pull away, there's a very good chance it's going to get lower very soon. And that's the scalp itself. Beyond that, you get what you get. I closed most of it anyway. Negativity causes disease. Yeah. Oh, stress. Yes. Negativity, stress. Yeah. What is right for you comes through karma, and every life has a different lesson. Yes. Definitely got to learn. What am I supposed to learn? Yeah. Those lessons can be very harsh sometimes, but hopefully you learn it and you don't have to repeat it, right? I learned a very harsh lesson with my back surgery and the hell that I was in for months. No sleeping, no eating. I thought I wasn't going to make it. And it was like all that is either going to be turned into some sort of trauma and outcome that's not going to be enjoyable, or you can have your Rocky moment. You're all bloody and messed up, and you get up and you keep fighting, and then you win. You go, oh shit. It's almost like it's made me less afraid of things to have something that horrible happen and you survive. It takes away a lot of fear. I call it hell. It was hell. At the time, I'm like, this is hell. This is literally hell, right? That's how bad it was. I can't even put into words how bad it was. But I think I now have and everybody has shit that happens that's just traumatizing. But it has benefits if you take advantage of them. The harder it is, the more it actually can benefit you. I still, to this day, how long has it been? I was starting to feel better in, the surgery was in July of last year. I still get into my car and go, this is amazing. I can just get in my car, sit down, not be in pain, and go wherever I want. I still think about that almost every day. Oh, this is amazing, the freedom I have. Little things, take for granted. When I lay on my back, a lot of times I just think, wow, this is amazing. I can lay on my back. This is great. Life is good. And now I work out like a beast. I'm so sore from yesterday. I work out on a regular basis now. And that has its benefits. And that's because, man, I never want to be weak again like that. Anyway, you guys trapped me. I was supposed to be professional today. I'm rambling. This guy's supposed to talk about trading. What is this? But like I said, as long as volume is this low, I'm not going to be getting into another trade. It's just too quiet. Luckily, this momentum trade had something left in the tank. Let's see. As I said, the weak Australian dollar, that was the story today. There wasn't much else. But then we got that. So that ended up pushing down EJ, pushing down AJ. But if all this sounds hocus pocus, what is this guy talking about? I say take away that one thing to try, if you want. No negative thoughts allowed. Nope, not allowed. Not allowed. Try it. Try it for a week. Try it for 3 days. No negative thoughts allowed. You got to do something, right? You have something that you have to do. And in your mind, you don't want to do it. And you're dreading it coming up. Here it comes. Ugh. The night before, I got to go to this thing tomorrow. Forget that. It's going to be exciting. You're going to be surprised at how exciting and fun that thing is going to turn out to be. Do that instead. Try it. Try it. So not much to do, again, on this extremely low volume. I'm not looking to get into any trade. We're probably nearing the cutoff point, whatever that is. Officially, I don't know. Of looking for the London hour trade. The more time goes by, the less likely I am to even want to take it. I mean, the pound yen has spoken, right? It's not going anywhere. For 3.5 hours of London session, it has gone nowhere. So it's just that kind of day. That's all right. While we wait for some setup, Book of Revelation is a very scary time for the world. Again, do we apply negativity, a negative meaning? Or we could say, not me. I don't want to experience it that way. I mean, when the thing hit in 2020, in the beginning of 2020, when that hit, right, everybody was scared, right? February, March 2020, the global fear, you could feel it. And I decided it's not going to affect me, or my wife, or my kid, It's not going to affect us. We're watching through a piece of glass. We're looking at everybody. We're watching a movie. It's not going to affect me in any negative way, I decided. And it was fine. Everything was fine. And actually, there were positive benefits to what happened 2020, 2021, all that. I had positive outcome. I would consider that positive. I went into it saying this is not going to affect me at all, which is crazy, right? Wear your mask, get your shot. I'm like, nah, I'm just going to skip the whole thing. I'm not going to experience this in a negative way. And I did not at all. I had great things go on. That's what happened. Just telling you my experience. One great thing that went on was, I like mixing, doing music work. And I always say, besides trading, the perfect job would be somebody sending me files to mix. I mix it and I send it back. I don't have to deal with people and somebody sitting over my shoulder and recording sessions. Just me by myself with your song. I send it back. So the lockdown shit happened. And this guy that I mixed a couple of things for, he's like, you know what? I want you to mix everything I have over the last, whatever it was, 10 years that I've recorded myself. I've tried to mix it myself. It's just not good. I'm not good at it. He's not a mixer. He's a singer-songwriter. And he's good at arranging and recording. Very good. But he's not a mixer. That's another skill in itself. So he's like, I'm going to send you these songs. I didn't know how many. It ended up being 12 songs or something like that. So every week or two, he would send me another one. 2 more, 3 more. And I'm like, this is perfect. I'm not going out. I'm doing the lockdown. I'm inside. I don't have to get out and experience any of this. I don't have to wear a mask. I don't have to do anything. This is awesome. And my point is, because you were saying about Revelation, I would approach that in the same way. This is not going to be a negative experience for me. That's what I would do. That's me. Matt, not to boast, but I never caught it or took any of the shots. Me either. Your phase 2 credentials? What's that? But Matt, yeah. And it wasn't that easy because I definitely had moments of where is this going now? I had a dark moment where it was like, this is it. This is it. Total global domination, medical tyranny. I didn't even think of that one. Wow, they're going to track you. They're going to limit where you can go. They're going to know everything you're doing for the sake of keeping everybody safe. And I became a second-class citizen. I was not allowed in restaurants. I was not allowed this. I was not allowed that. So, here we go. It's begun. Obey or get to the point where you're not allowed to buy and sell unless you accept it. It's, oh, shit, here we go. And I'm like, no, I'm going to I can't go down this road. I can't believe that this is it. No. And I swear when I made that flip, everything started getting better, at least in my experience. I mean, I believe it's very possible that the experiences of humankind split off into tangents, and there may be a reality and a timeline, so to speak, where it was it. It didn't get better. I mean, where's the celebration anyway right now? You hear it mentioned in passing. Oh, well, it's over now. It's like, wow, that's a big victory, man. You telling me they lost? We won? Now I can go to that restaurant. And I was good the whole time. Well, this is great. We should celebrate. I even had friends that took the shot, but still thought it was unfair to make other people do it. and spend time protesting against mandating the shot, saying you shouldn't have to. Even though I took it, I believe in your right to say no to it. And those people were out there doing it. Like, where's the congrats? We won. All right, good job, man. This could have been really bad. You know? Did something right. All right. Yeah, it's ruined. All right, today I've talked way too much again. I was planning on not doing this. Oh, you're trying to get a funded account. You have to pass 2 phases before getting your... Oh, okay. Before you have to... I never heard of that. Oh, you're trying to get it funded. Okay, I thought you meant like get approved with your funding. Oh, I see. Oh, that's cool. Go for it. Good luck. Yes. Did you take the AJ short? I'm just curious. Phase 2 is hardest one because you already think it was easy one. The easy one. Oh, here we go. Let's see if we get a new low here. Why did I mark that? That's not the entry. I don't know. I just must have moved it. It was off of this close, so it was actually during this bar. Not a bad short. All right. Pete Fader, you might be okay. You might know what you're doing. Not a bad short. You took the short, cool. Yeah, man. So this was the next stop. See if we can get to 50 fib. And this is where, again, typically, if buyers are interested, number one, this is where they're going to start to show up. And even if they don't, you'll tend to pause and test for buyers here. But I only have a little piece on. I don't see strength. I'm going to let it run. But that's kind of the template of testing this area is either buyers show up and you get a sign of strength, or if they don't, you'll still see sellers pause and get like a no demand, low volume stuff and then continue. So that's the template here. So whatever happens off of that, it's information. If we just go without pausing, you go, okay, the markdown is very aggressive. If we do the pause and test and get a no demand situation and continue, okay, business as usual. If you get, if we had some high volume here, it would be a warning that we may be turning and bouncing, but we didn't see high volume at all. And that's similar to, like I sold here because this low had low volume, suggesting it's going to be able to break. And again, this low has low volume. It does suggest we break. If that's our 50 fib test and that volume is that low, then it's suggesting we get there now. So says the chart. And we could get right in there and see the amount of buying, the strength, so to speak. Not very much at all. So all signs are still bearish. Lack of demand. And as long as this trend has been going, it's not over, so says the chart. But that's how it is with scalps sometimes. You're going with the trend, you get your little scalp target, and then who knows? manage it based on what you're seeing. This suggests we go more. Cool. I'm glad we got a trade today. We didn't get a London hour trade. And at this point, I probably wouldn't want to take it. It's again, we don't have an official cutoff point. I don't know if you can. I think maybe roughly. But we're getting close to 3 hours now. So it's like whatever goes on at that time of day didn't happen today. And we're getting to the point now, right, where it's like, okay, we're moving on to that time-based opportunity. We're moving away from that time-based opportunity. It's a different time now. So maybe it's a 3 hour cutoff. That kind of feels right. Which is 4 hours into London session if you count your waiting the first hour, and then 3 hours. Once you start looking for the trade, you allow 3 hours. Give or take, that sounds about right. And from testing it live, we've done all this testing. So whatever pound-driven situation that happens at that time of day, that's what we got today. Didn't do it. Didn't do much at that time. So I think it is what it is. Now it's done. But I'm glad we got something. Nice to have something else. I do take other trades besides that. That's just been so easy and nice and early. And sometimes I get that trade and I'm like, there's no point in doing anything else today. But it's nice we got this today. Let's see if we can get a little more. Money game. I want to incorporate the volume in my trading, but I have trouble distinguishing low, medium, and high volume bars. Well, first of all, I would say don't try to use any sort of indicator or volume moving average to help you. Don't worry about that. But if you look at it as this is the activity going on in the market, and it's relative increases and decreases. So it's relative. What's the flow of action going on? Flow of activity. And so like right now, for example, like high volume, this would be high volume. If you look to your left, it's not anywhere near really the high volume stuff. But if the market is now in this condition for an hour of this much activity, and then you get this, it's actually like doubling, right? It's like double the amount of activity. So something important happened. But if you took this volume and put it over here, it's nothing, right? Maybe that helps. So it's the flow of activity, the increases and decreases in activity, and it's just relative to that. So let's say this moved up and I saw a sign of weakness. That would be nice. Why not? If I saw this, I'd say, oh, good, rejection. And it's high volume compared to, whatever's going on in the market right now. But again, that's just not high volume at other times. And then considering things like, the London hour open, the London session open is always going to be exaggerated high volume. And don't look at that as your benchmark for high volume. That's still high. That's still really high here. Because it's the highest volume you've seen in the last hour and 40 and whatever. In a long time, over an hour. So if the market has this much activity, and then you suddenly get this, it matters. Something big, something happened. Again, you put this in here, it'll just blend in. So it's relative to the recent background, and knowing that this is, this can kind of fool you into making you think everything is low after that or not high enough. So you kind of just have to ignore this. And once it chills out, you're looking at, okay, this is what we're really dealing with. I can call that high volume. Okay. And now we say, okay, the market got quiet. The market got quiet. So we just get a feel of how much trading is going on. And again, now something like this would be a really important thing coming off of this type of activity. I don't know if that helps. Does that help? Or if you have any other specific questions about it, yeah. It's better than talking about multiverse manipulation. We should be talking about trading. So, yeah, any other questions? I'll tell you how I use it. So again, like looking at this volume as the reason to get short, it doesn't appear that low, especially if you compare to this. It's not low at all. But it's on the lower side, right? It's one of the lowest volumes. Maybe it's the second lowest volume that you've seen in the whole session. It's almost the lowest volume of the whole session. Starting from London Open, right? We chill out, get this going. So that I consider really low volume. This is the lowest of the session at that point, and this is almost that low anyway. So that's really light activity compared to what's normal here, the average. And then to see that in a place that would tell me about buyers, I can conclude buyers are not showing up. And that's low enough to tell me that. Yeah. Good. And again here, this is an important spot where buyers can show up. And that's low. Relative to the recent activity. You see the decrease in trading as sellers want to say, okay, are buyers coming in? Let's see. And then when they don't, so the buyers stop to see what sellers, I'll say it again. The sellers stop to see what buyers are going to do. And the buyers don't show up. So if the sellers are not active and the buyers are not active, you should see low volume here telling you we're still bearish. Buyers' demand hasn't come in. So it's logical and it's relative. We might do like a 14 EMA rejection again. Like this one here. D. Nixon, hey, good to see you. The rambling is cool? Okay. Proves you're a human. I am a human. I'm a hybrid. Yes, human. Good to hear. Yeah, I have what do they call me now? I'm a pure blood now. My blood might be worth a lot. My DNA might be worth a lot in the future. Just saying. Good to hear you were on the right side of that entire debacle. Yes, exactly. My DNA is intact. Now, I heard a wild theory. Oh, gosh, here we go again. You're encouraging me. I heard a wild theory. Okay, I've always heard that, you know, the grays, the aliens with the grays, right? The little guys with the big head and the big black eyes with the no ears, and they don't talk, telepathic. The aliens, the grays. Now, there are a bunch of different gray civilizations with hybrid DNA. But there's one particular civilization that's actually the future of mankind that turned into the grays. What? And then I hear, yeah, because of the shot. The shot messed up our DNA and we turned into the grays. So when we experience, you know how you've heard, right? So the grays come and they take cows, or they'll take you and they'll do they'll put you on an operating table and they'll take an organ out of your body. Like, what are they doing to me, right? Everybody's heard these stories. Maybe one of you have experienced this. Why am I on like an operating table with grays over me, and there's medically stuff going on? They're taking something, and the animals and stuff. It's the DNA pre-shot that they're after, the original DNA before we started messing with it. So they figured out a way to come back. This would be a fun movie at least, right? So the grays are the humans in the future with the fucked up DNA, and they figured out a way to come back in time, pre-COVID. Oh, I said it now, and get the good DNA to save their race, which is now dying because their DNA is fucked, to save the human race. I mean, if it's not true, it's at least a pretty good freaking movie, huh? Sounds reasonable. There you go. And generally, in line with theories. I mean, I'm just talking. Who knows? In line with theories that it's meant to actually hinder our DNA from developing, in a positive way in the future. It's meant to block the so-called upgrades. They call it junk DNA. I hate that term. It's not junk. It's freaking DNA. It ain't junk. It's not waste. And those things were deactivated and they're becoming activated again. And that affects your whole experience of reality and consciousness off your DNA activation. And upgrades that come from solar activity and certain energies that upgrade your DNA and move forward mankind evolution in a positive way, that the shot was actually meant to block that on purpose. To keep us, Don't question. Just be a good worker. Don't think for yourself. Stay low. That's a theory. I'm just talking. Who knows? Interesting stuff. Would make fun movies, at least. Eddie comes in here going, oh my God. What are we talking about? Eddie, yes, a swing trade. Yes, sir. I have a nice bullish outlook on that. Yeah. Like I say, everything outside of day trading Forex for me is swing trading. So I buy low, sell high, and I think, so it's long-term position trading. It's actually called position trading because swing trading is even shorter term than what I do. Just position trading. You want to own more on the way up than you do on the way down. And you rarely close out fully. But, yeah, I have a nice bullish outlook for 2023. So I'm holding on to that, which is in a bit of profit, but patience. Let's see where we go. I think everything will be fine. I think we're already in the recession and coming out of it. So generally, I'm bullish. I'm looking to buy dips. If we dip and we see strength and accumulation, I'll get in on that. But I feel like it's going to, there's some catching up to do, and we're going to move up. We'll see 3.5 very soon. 3.7 soon. But I plan for everything, so, there's also buy areas. Like, where would I buy more? Starting from below there. Now, this could be completely different from how you trade it. You're probably day trading it, but this is my swing trade stuff, which is really simple. So either this goes and I'm profiting, I'm waiting for weakness, I'm looking at where we are, levels. And if we go lower and I wait to see, do we get demand? Do we get buyers in this area that's supposed to bring buyers if they're interested, so we find out when it gets there. And these are the type of areas where I'll buy more, buy low, sell high. I mean, that's historically a really good spot, really good price. This is the 2020 meltdown, so that's that, Aside from an actual event, we should not see 18 this year, unless World War III breaks out or something. So this would be considered a really good price, I would say, to add to that. But I'm already bullish and I'm already in. Let's see. I haven't even thought about really targets where really profit taking. Yeah, new high ground. Let's see what it does. 40 this year, 39, totally realistic. I could see getting out up here in a few months. Who knows? In a month. next week. I'm bullish. I think the pressure is off. We just went through some serious shit the last few years, and things are self-correcting if there's nothing really major going on. And the markets will figure themselves out. Inflation, I think, is supply chain. All that shit's going to be okay. A new level in Scientology. Oh, gosh. Oh, well, what is it you finally get to after you pay hundreds of thousands of dollars and do whatever they say for 20 years of your life or longer? And they finally tell you the secret of Scientology, which I think is that your body is made up of a bunch of little aliens, and so like you're supposed to talk to your finger because it's a living being. All right, some crazy shit. Scientology is crazier than anything I said today. That shit is nuts. Yeah, it's a cult. We all know it. What's her name? The actress exposed it all. Man, she risked her life saying that shit. But she did it. All right, props. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, AJ's popping up. Well, I closed most of it. It worked out good for a scalp. That's fine. We knew this was going to be potentially support right there. We knew it in advance, right? Now, we don't see a lot of buying, which says we may be able to break it. But if my break even is hit, that's fine, whatever. Scalp is a scalp. I'm not going to let it run back on me now. But going forward, it's more likely that we do get below there today. Did my trade close? Let's see. Well, I'm about not even a pip away from my break even. Oh, there it goes. Okay, out of the trade. I am out of the rest of the AJ short. Banked a little here. Banked a little wherever. I don't know where. Here, something. Nice little scalp. Do you run two positions or just one? Meaning, do I take trades on two different pairs or position? Or what do you mean by that? Not sure what you're asking. But if you're asking about like partial close and how I manage it, whatever lots I'm short, that's what it is. So when I say close half, it's half. I'm actually on my broker, and the way it works, I buy. So I sold, let's say you sold 10, just a round number. I say I'm going to close half. I put in a buy for 5 lots, whatever it is. And then you have 5 lots on, and you say, okay, I'm closing half of whatever I have on now. So I'm closing 2.5 lots. So I just work off of that. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking. Did I miss a question? Oh, I did miss that question. Okay. Thanks for the reminder there. So that should answer your question, right? Money games. So if I'm short, I'm actually buying to close half. I'm buying half the lots that I have short. Yeah. And if like you're trading on MT4, you can type in. I remember that on MT4 you could type in the amount of lots, so you could do that stuff. Yeah. DNA's intact, your pure blood club. Let's go. I don't like saying that for the people that got the shot. I'm like, oh, fuck you, man. Who the hell, what are you trying to say about my DNA? Kiss my ass. But yeah, pure blood's in the house. Let's go. In 10, 20 years, they're going to be like paying us big bucks for our DNA, I think. It might happen. If I'm right and that happens, that's going to be the freakiest thing ever. Yeah, so let me get back to that question that I missed. Sorry about that. Are you still here, Dalginder? Sorry, I butcher names for a living. But you're asking about, let's see. Which points did you draw the fib from to get the zone above the current price of AJ? I've drawn one in the hourly chart, and it shows that AJ just had hit the 618. Okay, I actually have a video. I'll show you this, but I don't know if you've seen it. I actually have a video that is Dal. There you go. I have a video that explains how I do fibs. If you haven't watched that, check that out. It's a not a long video, all about how I use the fib. But in this case, very simply, it's from this low to the high here. So the point is to catch the trending move bottom to top, top to bottom. So that's why I didn't draw it from here, because this isn't the bottom of the trending move. This is a double bottom pattern. This is actually the beginning, right? And think of it this way. You want to measure the retracement of the trending move and have 50% at right in the middle. So there's 50%. Now this fib is drawn from here, which is the low of today, right? I don't like picking random levels. Like, I'm not going to draw it from here. I'm not going to draw it from here, right? This is a clear swing point and the low of the day and the beginning of, right, this move bottom to top. So that gives me this. So you catch the trending move, you draw it in the direction of the trending move, start there and there. Make sure your 50 is right in the middle and you got it right. Does that help? So I'm feeling good about today. All right, cool. Yeah, I watched the video. There's a few more details maybe in there. I think it's called How I Use Fibonacci is the name of the video. So I feel good about today. Not taking this short because it wasn't good enough. I would have barely made it up. Let's see, 98. I would have made it up about 10 pips. That's not enough to start taking profit. I'd be sitting in my full position still, unless I decide to close at break even or do something. So this trade went nowhere. I feel good about that. This did not set up. Came close to it. Didn't set up. Based on this reaction, we could break this low later, right? Good decision there. And then we're able to pull out something in a dead, slow market. We're able to grab that. Entry there. With a stop right here, wherever that was, right there. So it's not always, paint by numbers. You show up and you take the trade and it's whatever. It's a vending machine. Didn't get the London hour trade, but found an opportunity at least. In a very slow, quiet market on very low activity right now, for whatever reason. Who knows why? Who cares why? The why doesn't matter. Who cares? But that tells me I'm not going to jump in anything else right now. At this point, it's 2 hours away from high impact news. So unless very soon we start to see volume creep up and some clear stuff happening, well, then I'll just wait for the news and see what we got after that. The way things have been going for the last few weeks is 9 out of 10 times, U.S. session is an up move in markets. Weak dollar, weak U.S. dollar. And it doesn't mean it's not without its traps. Again, let's go to the U.S. 30. It's not without its traps. Hunting all those stops, huh? But you see how it ends. New high this late in the day. Now, this was news, but yeah, news again. Trappy on news, but ending higher has been so often what's been going on. Look at this, right? And look where we end. This is what news is doing. End higher. If you go to the 1 hour, you see how many days. It's like besides these few days, we end higher, higher. Look at the ends of these sessions, 9 times out of 10 for January. Push up, we push up. Any down move was just an opportunity to buy. And this, yeah, I did buy after this. But again, these crazy news spikes are kicking out long positions and then going, right? Who knows? I'm not worried about news turning things bearish. Whatever speech today, whatever crap, I don't care. We'll listen to the chart. But generally, weak U.S. dollar as far as the FOREX. We'll see today. Let the news come out, see where we are. Like I said, we don't have a lot of pre-positioning. We can't really identify very well a phase. I mean, obviously, you're going to call this markdown. But then what? Is there accumulation? Is there redistribution? This was newsy with no outcome. Trap included. But we can pop up and see distribution weakness off news. We could pop up and not see weakness, saying it's a real move. We're bullish. High volume leading to high prices to end the day. We're bullish. So we will see. We do have these areas just above where if sellers are interested, that's really where you'll see them. So we have that to consider. And generally, if you're trending down for a few days and you haven't seen a reason to go long, high volume strength, basically, you want to stay with that. Easy. Sell the up moves weakness unless something changes. But typically, if this is going to go back to convincingly bullish, it's high volume up and then accepting those prices to end the day and say, yes, there was buying, it didn't hit supply, it's real. Or you drop down, you get the trap move, you get the high volume strength, and then you end up higher. So that's typically how we'll end up bullish if we end up expecting this to reverse or anything. Maybe that's helpful for today. New high ground, new low ground is very telling, but with news we could get spiky and then have to assess once it calms down. All right, I guess we'll call it a day. No London hour setup, but we got a little scalp. Market is now quiet. Gonna wait for news. Anything else? All right, we're good for today. Some money in the bank. I'll take it. Knowing when not to take the London hour trade. There you go. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Trade safely. Have a good one, guys. See you tomorrow. Been fun as usual. I tried to be more professional today, and you sucked me into the conversations again. I guess I should just accept it. At least I'm not talking about 1989 for 30 minutes. All right, guys. #grateful. See you tomorrow.